Hello, eighth grade Bobcats. Can't believe you all are about out of our building. It's so sad. Last week of school here. Want to quickly introduce an assessment and kind of a piece of this morning's stuff that's going to tie kind of closely to what Mr. Franzen's doing with personal finance. We know that for a lot of you, careers working, one of the main reasons we all work is to make money, obviously, so that we can pay for our own survival, pay for things that we want, pay for things that we need. That need versus want is going to be something we're going to talk about here for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to cut you all loose on this program that historically kids have really liked in the past. So I hope you find this interesting. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed this whole morning of career stuff, and I hope you've enjoyed your time at HMS, and all of you are going to be missed next year. Here we go. Let's rock and roll. All right, the first thing we're going to do once this video is over, please don't do it right now, is go to the 8th HMS counseling page that all of you should be on, where you can find the simple 5-step with the directions in the link right here. You're going to click on the link, and then we have the username, password, and then how to access the program here. So I'm going to quickly go to this website, which should take me to into careers, Montana Career Information System that some of you have worked on here in the past. When we get in here, we're going to go to username is Helena MS, password's plan7ing. So once we get logged in here, this is an important step that a lot of students sometimes miss. We got to go up here to the Helena High version, and then we're going to let our mouse hover over assessments, and then we're going to go down to reality check. All right, you guys can watch the video on your own if you want. It basically talks about this guy that gets a job and all the things he wants to buy, but he has a reality check that he doesn't make enough money. So we're going to start the reality check, and I would just fill in Central Montana or Western, probably. Western's probably a little bit closer with cost of living. We'll fill that in. So the big thing we're going to talk about here today is some of you, we have two choices. I recommend that you find a career you love, find a career that fits your interests, fits your values, and then based on that and how much money you're going to make, then you base a lifestyle off of that. Some of you are going to base a lifestyle and figure out what kind of lifestyle do I want to live, therefore how much money do I need. So that's really what we're talking about is what we can afford based off how much money we need. And at the end, it's going to give you a dollar amount of how much money you'll need to live that lifestyle. And these are some jobs or careers that fit that lifestyle. In the past, we've looked at careers based off our interests. We've looked at some things based off our values, which is what you have done or will do with me this morning. And then finally, we need to look at, well, what kind of lifestyle do we want to live? I'm going to go through this really quick so we can cut you guys loose, but long story short, these numbers aren't perfect, but there's all sorts of different housing options when you get older. I'm just going to kind of run through it and say 2-bedroom apartment. Obviously, apartment doesn't have as much space as a house, but it's going to be a little more affordable. How much money do you need? We need electricity. We need to heat our home. We need to pay for our water. And in some places, whether you're in the city or out, you may need to pay for trash. Usually if you're in the city, that's part of your property taxes. So you don't need to pay for that. So again, as we go through there, these are all going to be decisions that you need to make. I think everybody wants a cell phone. I don't think anybody has a landline anymore. Yes, cable, yes, internet. Some people just get internet and they do their Hulu, their Netflix, their Disney Plus, whatever. Some of you like cable. These are all decisions that you're going to have to make on this program. Eating. It's pretty simple. Those of you that like to eat out and or dine out, that comes with convenience of not having to cook your own food. It's a social situation. You know, dining out food usually tastes really good. Eating at home isn't as luxurious. Obviously, you've got to prep, you've got to buy the food, you've got to cook it, and then you've got to clean up after yourself. Well, you don't have to do any of that with the dine out. But that costs a lot less. The reason is because these restaurants make their money on charging more for the food, so obviously the restaurant can go. So again, you know, you can figure out your plan. I would say for me, I mostly eat at home. I try to splurge about once a week, so I'm going to split these two in the middle. I'm going to say $450 is going to be the money that I allot each month for food. Again, one of the things we're talking about here as you get to be an adult is you have to budget your money. You have to figure out how much money you're going to make, and then we got to figure out what we spend it on every month. What we use for transportation. This is a really good. These probably aren't an option unless you live in a highly dense city type area. There is bus in Helena that you can ride your bike depending on where you work, where you live. And then cars. I would say the main thing with cars is yes, it's based on size, but it's also based off how new that car is. If you get an older car, it's not going to be as expensive of either a payment or if you can save up money and buy it outright. If you get something newer, nicer, more luxurious, it's going to spend more money. Cars aren't a great investment because they're a depreciating asset, meaning you pay the money up front and then it becomes worth less and less value as time goes on. If we go back a couple slides to the house is a good example of owning a house of an appreciating asset, meaning on average, as you own a house, its value rises over time. I'm a huge component of trying to spend most of your money with appreciating assets versus depreciating assets. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to go medium-sized car. Don't forget when you own a vehicle, you got to pay for the gas, you got to pay for the maintenance, you got to pay for insurance, you got to pay for licensing. It's a lot of expenses that are tied into owning a vehicle. All right, how much clothing will you need? Some of you, I've seen your style, you got great style, you're always switching it up. That comes at a cost. Some of you wear just a few basics and you've got your few things. I'm at a point in my life where I really don't buy a whole lot of clothes. I did have a pretty bad Lululemon habit there for a while, but I've got that dialed in now. So I'm probably going to go with just a few basics. Again, some people are more stylish and maybe they want to spend less money on a car, but more money on clothes. Maybe they want to spend more money on food and less on clothes. This is what we're really looking at today and hopefully having some fun with. Healthcare. This is a really important issue. If you end up working in a high skilled, high knowledge job, and we talk about this with the values, there's a very good chance that you don't have to pay for your health insurance. Like I don't pay for my health insurance. Matter of fact, I get to choose between a plan and then I get money back. That's because I work in a high knowledge, high skilled job. If some of you work in an entry level minimum wage job, that's not going to come with the benefits of health insurance. So I'm very lucky. I get to put zero in. I'd like to put negative because I get money back, but this program's not set up this way. Health insurance is very important because if you have something catastrophic happen, something huge, it can really wreck you financially. Bad situations happen with people a lot of times that don't have health insurance. Entertainment, how much money do you need to spend? Some of you spend money and you can go out and entertain yourselves for fairly cheap. Some of you like to go on vacations, like to ski. I like to mountain bike, do different things. Again, I'm kind of getting through this pretty quick. I mainly just hang out. I'm kind of lame and I don't have many friends, just joking. All right, I am at what we need for personal care. I do have a gym membership every month. I think personal fitness is very important. I pay about $50 a month for my gym membership, so I'm going to pick low. Although, I don't get massages. I guess I do get haircuts a couple times. I better bump that up to medium. Let's see what we have next. Just miscellaneous expensive odds and ends, just random stuff that you end up having to pay for. I'm going to put $50 in there. Ooh, I could have selected it here. I'm going to go light. And then let's see, what do we have left? Student loans. This is a really good one. For those of you that go on to 2 or 4 year colleges where you have to take out student loans, you may be paying some of those back. For some of you that maybe get scholarships or grants, you may not. I was super lucky. I got to go to college on an athletic scholarship, and then I saved some money for grad school. So I had no debt. I was very lucky. A lot of this also depends on, do you go to like a private school that's very expensive, or do you go to an in-state school that's just like an in-state school, Montana, Montana State, Montana Western, Montana Tech, so on and so forth. If you go out of state to like University of Washington, UCLA, USC, you're going to be paying more money. So this is kind of a complex one. Do as you please here, but student loan debt is a real issue, and it's a hot topic issue right now with people that took out too much money at student loans, and then now they're having to pay it back. One last thing that we're going to look at is savings. All of you, and we talk about this in values, is you're going to want to retire someday. So every month you put certain money away and then you invest it. I put probably 7% away, between 5 and 7. If you work in a high knowledge, high skilled job where you're making a lot of money, this is easier to put this away. If you're working at a low skill, low knowledge job, you really can't afford to save any because you're not making that much money in the first place, and therefore you don't have any extra money left over at the end of the month. Just another example of why staying in school, growing in your skill, and growing in your knowledge is a good idea. All right, so it's looking like my total salary needed after taxes and everything, because you have to pay those when you get older. This is saying that for me to live this lifestyle, I need to make $41,439 a year. You can go in and adjust this. Some of you have ridiculous numbers. I've seen 100, 200,000. Some of you live very simply. It's all about what you value and what's important to you. Um, if this was more money, I would probably have to take on a second or third job to live that lifestyle, which some people don't want to spend their whole life working just to live. And I totally get that. Some people want to live the minimum and they want to go or want to work the minimum so they can go live a bunch. It all comes down to what's important to you. Okay, so now that we're done with this, you can go in and look at how much education or training you're going to need. I'm going to say not yet, but I encourage some of you to go in there and explore it. So now it's going to give us all options here of which, based on which career cluster. I know which career cluster I'm in. I am in the education and training. This is my career cluster. This career cluster goes back to interests. Now we can tie it to interests if you remember what your career cluster is. So now it's essentially going to say, these are all the jobs that make this much money based off being in education. So let's see if I can find school counselors. School counselors, boom, barely made it. There it is. Go and explore. This is going to be your time. I know money is an important issue. I really encourage you guys to take this assessment, sit back, be honest with yourselves, and play with it a little bit. And really, no decisions, final decisions are being made today. Go in and explore it, enjoy the process, have fun with it. And I really just want you to think about yourself, life, money, how you spend it, what you want to do in the future. Have fun.